Hi, Miguel here, back with another orange vlog. Today we're doing volume 2, and oh my gosh, the feels, guys. um, a lot of interesting things happen, and the dynamic has shifted since the last volume. Let me adjust my camera real quick. So in this volume, things occur a little differently than in the letters, and that's understandable because having followed the instructions of the letter and having basically changed the past, Naho has basically written a new future. It made little changes that have impacted the future by changing details that happened to future Naho. Now, it's hinted in this volume. It's hinted what rule of time travel we're using. We're using the multiverse rule of time travel, which actually results in a bit of an emotional burden for Naho, because the multiverse theory indicates that every decision that you make basically creates an entirely different universe, right? So a universe in which Kakeru walks home with Nahu, and Nahu? Sorry, guys. But anyway, a universe in which Kakeru walks home with Naho would separate from a universe where Kakeru doesn't walk home with Naho. Actually, if you can hear my sister playing the piano, sorry about that. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but like they're making a lot of noise downstairs. But anyway, so that's the theory that they're going with in Orange, which bothers Naho because she realizes that the Kakeru in the other universe, the one from which future Naho is writing, she will not be able to save him. That Kakeru will remain dead, which is heartbreaking, honestly. It's heartbreaking to know, but that doesn't mean that she can't try and save her Kakeru. And she does everything in her power to do so. We also come to realize a few things. One thing I really like about the series so far is everything is laid out to you by the rules of time travel, rather than, rather than like introducing some new concept of time travel that you weren't previously aware of. You could figure out, you could really think through everything that is implicated by this theory of time travel and think, okay, this is a restriction, this is an implication, this might happen. We have to keep all of this in mind as we go through the story, rather than some new concept just coming in out of the blue and completely messing up everything, which is something I really like. I hope they continue doing this throughout the story, because it allows me to really think about this and theorize, how are we going to proceed from this point forward, knowing what we know so far. And one thing that I did realize while reading this volume is Winter, the other Kakeru, the future Kakeru, dies in February 15th, which is coming up. It's June right now, so when February comes around, Kakeru will die. At least that Kakeru. But in this timeline, because Naho has already changed so much, it's possible. It's not just possible for Kakeru to die on February 15th. He might choose to commit suicide much earlier. He might choose to commit suicide after February 15th. That means that if she wants to save Kakeru, it's going to be an ongoing endeavor. She always has to keep an eye on him and make sure that he doesn't do anything that might endanger his own life, which is interesting and also terrifying. I mentioned last episode that having a deadline and seeing the dates next to the pages, which allows us to keep track of how long it is until that deadline, kept it relaxed, but allows for some good tension building that comes naturally as time progresses. But now that we know that Kakeru might just end it all at any time, anywhere, we're a little on edge, because now it's possible for things to go awry at any instant. We don't know anymore because Naho has already changed so much. Naho at this point, Naho has decided, I'm just going to follow the letter, every single thing that the letter tells me to do. I'm just going to follow it because so far I don't want to be the one who lives with any regrets and ends up having to write back to myself saying, hey, don't do this, you know? So, we do see how Kakeru's breakup with Ueda. Kakeru breaks up with Ueda apparently after dating her for 2 weeks. Whereas in the alternate universe, he dated her for a month before breaking up with her. So, Naho has already changed a lot. And Kakeru, breaking up with Kakeru actually brings Ueda to a really bad place. And this is where Ueda's true personality really shines. And I say shines very hesitantly because it's actually more like grime. She makes me really mad whenever she appears in this manga. In my Naruto series, I mentioned that the first character that really like actively made me angry was Neji, and he had a sort of redemption arc, and I'm hoping he has more of a redemption arc here. Here, I'm glad we met Ueda really early because she just like, she makes me mad. She treats Naho like dirt out of pure jealousy for her and her friendship with Kakeru. So it just, every time she appears, she just completely mistreats Naho. And there's a moment, there's this pool party that they have, and there's going to be fireworks at the end. And Ueda actually goes to Naho and tries to, really, she and her friends basically corner her. And they're like, hey, where did you get that pin? Kakeru gives Naho a pin, and it's a very special pin. Naho is very grateful for it. It's very symbolic. It's symbolic of her, her relationship with Kakeru. Their bond together, and I'm pretty sure they're slowly falling in love. But Ueda confronts Naho. She's like, hey, where did you get that pin? Can I see that pin? Like, she's really like pressuring her to not hang out with Kakeru as much because she's just that jealous. And what makes it even worse is that her friends are actively encouraging this behavior, and it drives me insane. So like, there's a moment later where Naho's letter is telling her, hey, I know that the changes that you've made to the future at this point may have removed some of your happy memories, but this one happy memory I don't want you to miss. I want you and Kakeru to enjoy the fireworks together. Kakeru asked me to enjoy the fireworks in my timeline. Kakeru doesn't do that in this timeline, but Naho actually asks Kakeru herself, which makes her a lot more of an active participant. Like, even when the letters aren't accurate in what happens, she actually takes the initiative and says, hey, I want this memory. I want to have this memory, so let's go to the fireworks together. You don't have to ask me. I'm just going to ask you. So, and Kakeru, of course, says yes. Now, Ueda comes over. She's like, by the way, Ueda is apparently a very popular girl in her class, having won the beauty contest and everything. But she actually forces Naho to miss the fireworks in exchange, because she gives her a little task to do that their teacher had asked them to do. And she was like, oh, you don't want the teacher to get mad, do you? Well, if you don't want to do it, then just give us the pin. And it makes me so mad whenever she's in the book, because like she just mistreats Naho, and Naho didn't ask for any of it. It is not how you treat people. Okay. Okay. I'm alright. I'm not that mad. I'm that bad, but anyway. Ueda, thankfully, we do see a little more of Azu and Takako in this volume. We see that they really do ship Kakeru and Naho. They really want the two to be together because they would be perfect for each other. So whenever Ueda comes to mess things up, Takako and Azu, and also Hagita and Suwa actually step in to keep them from doing so. So like, Azu and Takako actually take the task from Naho so she can enjoy the fireworks with Kakeru. Hagita and Suwa actually stop Ueda from joining Kakeru in the pool area where they're going to watch the fireworks, where he's going to watch the fireworks, redirecting her to the soccer room where Kakeru is not there. Excuse me. I have filmed 4 videos today, and one of them was the Rasengan video. So anyway, so yeah, we do get to see more of them. I love how much Azu and Takako completely, like, they just ship the two to the point where at the end they actually say, let's all get together and go to this festival thing. But in actuality, they plan on not coming to the festival and just letting Naho and Kakeru be together and basically have a date, which is adorable. I'm really beginning to like these two, especially Takako, because I dislike Ueda so much. I like how Takako is always ready to throw hands with her, which, like, props to Takako. I like that. I'm beginning to warm up to those two characters. Hagita, not so much. We still don't know a whole lot about Hagita. He has this dry sense of humor that tends to pop up every once in a while, but he hasn't really done anything on his own that really stands out. Now, Suwa, we confirmed that Suwa does like Naho a lot, but he's still willing to allow her to be with Kakeru. He still fully supports Kakeru and Naho being together. And at the end of the story, at the end of the volume, we find out why. We find out that Suwa also got a letter from himself 10 years in the future, dictating what he should do, and I'm assuming something similar to what Naho has. It's a very interesting cliffhanger, learning that there are other people who got letters from themselves too. I really like that, and I'm beginning to wonder who else in the group has a letter from themselves. What if Kakeru got a letter from himself? That would be dumb, seeing as he dies in February. But anyway, so yeah, I'm very interested to see how this goes. I'm very interested to see how the relationships between these different characters have shifted, knowing what happens in the future, but knowing that they can't really tell each other what's going on. I'm very interested to see if anyone else got a letter like that, and how that would change everything. We do cut a little bit to the future. We learn a little bit more about Kakeru's death. Kakeru apparently purposely rode his bike in front of a truck. He left a letter for his grandmother, whom he lived with. And yeah, so it's completely understandable, learning all of the circumstances behind his passing, why the friend group would choose to send letters to themselves so as to make sure that Kakeru does not commit suicide this time. I'm very curious to see how this is going to end. I'm very tempted to look up the ending, but I'm not going to, I promise. I really want to be pleasantly surprised, or pleasantly, or you know, it might have a sad ending. I wouldn't count it out just yet. So yeah, this was a great volume. It had a lot of emotional moments between Naho and Kakeru, and also Suwa and Kakeru, who are, you know, really great friends at this point. And both of them liking Naho, but like not fighting over it. Like some people, Ueda. I know I get angry at Ueda a lot, but the fact that she is present in this volume actually adds some conflict to it. So I'm glad she's in the volume. I'm never glad to see her, but you know what? She does play a vital role in bringing Naho and Kakeru together and showing the struggle that Naho has to go through in order to be with Kakeru. So yeah, this was a fantastic volume. A lot of emotional impact. The emotions are strong, and I'm sure the emotions are only going to get much more impactful as the series goes on. By the time this is over, I expect to be bawling my eyes out, which, to be fair, isn't saying much, seeing as I cry very easily at things anyway. So, that being said, before I leave you, I just wanted to tell you to, since I haven't really said this on this series, check out, if you haven't already, my Naruto vlogs. I'm currently on volume 20, Naruto vs. Sasuke, and that, I'm sure, is going to be a joyride, a complete joyride. Love, and friendship, and other such things that are not going to be completely heartrending. Also, if you haven't already, check out my Pokemon Adventures Revisited series, which is going out every Saturday. I revisit the Pokemon Adventure series, which I read as a child, and I would very much like to revisit. I've revisited one volume so far, so do be sure to check that out. There will be more coming every Saturday. Definitely check it out if you haven't read the manga before, or if you have read the manga before and would like to see how I, as an adult, having read it as a kid, see how it holds up. Sorry, see how it holds up over the years. That being said, I'll see you later. I will see you for Volume 3.